Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review, and today we're talking about Vantage from Stonemaier Games, designed by Jamie Stegmaier with art by Valentina Felix, Soren Medding, and Emilian Roteval. And I do apologize for mispronouncing, well, probably all of those names. And before I get started, thank you to Stonemaier Games for sending me this copy so I can make this video. Now, what this game is this is the newest Stonemaier game, and in this game you are going on an adventure on a distant planet where your ship has crash landed. And this is a solo or co-op game. However, in any instance, when you are playing, you will never be allowed to show other players the different vantages, hence the name, the views that you are seeing as you play through the game. Now, this game is mostly story, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how the setup works and take the first turn or two, and then I'll set up some other kind of situation that might demonstrate what might happen later on in the game in order to avoid as many spoilers as possible. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played, or you want to enter into this game having no spoilers whatsoever, then you'll want to jump into my final thoughts, which you can find at the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game is played. So the first thing that's going to happen, and I'm going to go ahead and slide the board out of the way for a moment, is you'll start the game going to the back of the rulebook. And you'll get your basic story, talking about how you get a signal from the, quote, traveler, your ship arrives in orbit, and then you'll go through setup, which is setting up your challenge dice, which are the black dice you saw earlier, and so on. Then each player would get to select a character, or you can roll the random skill dice to find out what it happens to be. I went ahead and grabbed the purple one here, 1436, and you can see the number right there, 1436. I'll show you the card library in just a bit. You'll take that, you'll put 2 boosts on it, like so, and slide that to the side. You will also get one of these cards that will correlate to your color, and I'll show you how you use these in just a bit. Then after that, you'll set your morale, your time, and your health on the main board, which I'll show you in just a moment. The first player will get 2 skills at random, so we'll just take those, you roll those, and that's what you wind up getting. So in this case, a green and a purple. And that will also correlate to this number over here, which will tell you what mission you get. So in this case, I have a green and a purple. I'll take a look, find the green purple. There we go, purple green, 1592. Then I go into the ginormous card library here, and I will find card 1592. Right here, conquer an entire city. So it's an action I can take. I'll explain how this action works later, but I can conquer part of a city, perform this action on a city location, read 1592, and the Overpower Storybook, which will all make sense in just a bit. Then I will go to card. You'll notice this card 000, card 001. And as you'll see, you're going to put your mission, and I'll do a quick pause here to explain a few things, right here onto this main board. So you'll see I have my time, morale, and health, which I've set at 4 right here. And down here I have placed my mission. You'll see there's also a destiny here. You might discover a destiny as you play through the game, which is another way to win the game. To win the game, you have to accomplish a mission, or a destiny, or you will lose the game should any of your stats reach 0. And there is story that you read should you ever get down to 0. But as I said, again, I'm going to slide this out of the way again. The next thing you do is you go to card 1. And it tells us that ships malfunctioned, you're jumping into escape pods, and off you go. And then each player will either pick or roll for one of these. So take it, they'll roll, and it'll tell you what card you're going to go to. Or you can also choose, which sometimes maybe you choose based on color. We'll just say I'm picking based on color, so I'm going to 003. Then I'll take my little card holder here, and I will dig out card 003. And it gives you some story, it shows you what you see, and you're going to roll 2 dice one more time. And this is telling you where you've landed. So I roll these 2, and just like that, I would get a blue and a purple skill, which I'll be able to use again later on. And again, that will also correlate over here to where I actually landed. So I take a look with my purple-blue or blue-purple, which is right here, which takes me to card 115. So I would set this here, and don't worry, I'll pull this off of here in a minute, and I would go to card 115. Now, this is where I'm going to show you what this card is for, because as you have your card library and you kind of flip through, and I will flip through here till I get to card 115, which is right here, what I actually do is I pull it out, I have my 115 right here, and you drop this card in, and as you're moving through the world, that's going to show you where it is that your card is, so you can just easily drop the cards back in position. Now I'll move this out of the way, you won't see this big box again. But then what you do is you take your card and you drop it in to your viewer in front of the other card. And the purpose of this is, on the back of the card you'll see this is blank. So what it's doing is it's keeping all other players from seeing what it is that you are seeing. However, for this video that doesn't make much sense, so I will simply place it right here. And so here, this is what it is that you see. And at the bottom it has a little bit of story that kind of tells you a little more information. So, attached to a broken bridge at the northern edge of a steep cliff is an old stone building with stained glass windows. And so now I have to make a choice. And I'm going to look over here, and these are all the different choices that I have. Now what's very important is on every single card, unless something says differently, but the general rule is you can only do a single action. So I will not be allowed to enter, spy, trade, assist, access, and break this little temple here. I have to choose one. The other thing that you can do is you can move on. If I want to go to the west, I can go to card 413, or if I want to go north, south, or east, I have to go look in a storybook and there will be some kind of special thing that's going to happen. But for the sake of argument, since I am a purple guy, I'm going to say I'm going to do a spy. And this is where these tokens here might come in handy. So what I will do is I will go into the purple storybook. And there will be a storybook for all of the different colors there. But in this case, I go into the purple storybook. And just another warning, this is as much of a spoiler as you might get. And it says 115, so I'll find entry 115 in the purple book. And then I come to here, and then I come over to here, and I see 115, spy on the building through a window. Through the stained glass, you see a room filled with maps, books, crystals. Gain 2 boost, and 1 move, and then I may continue. And you'll see there's a number in this little hexagon right here that is 4. So the catch with this game is, every time you do an action, you succeed. Period. Always. It's just what kind of complications are you going to have? So for me, the number was 4. And so what that means is, if we look back over here, we see we have these challenge dice. And that 4 means I have to roll 4 of these dice. Now, I also happen to have these tokens here, and since they match the color, I could spend these tokens, spend 2 of them, to only roll 2 dice, or spend 1 and only roll 3 dice. And so then I will roll those dice. And in this case, that's not a bad roll. So what it means is, this is nothing. So I'd put that over here, I've used it, nothing happened. This is called a setback, which simply means the die goes back over there. But let's say I rolled that symbol there. That means something happened that made me lose some morale. So I would lose a morale. Or the heart, I did something, maybe I twisted my ankle while I was sneaking up there, or I cut myself on the glass, and I would lose some health. Or maybe it took longer than I expected and I lose some time. Now this is where your cards come into play. So as I slide over here, we'll take a look at my card here. And first off, I have these boosts. And many of your cards will have boosts on them as you gain them, and they allow you to do something. So I could actually take one of these, spend a boost, and re-roll this. And I got the exact same roll. And in this game, if you roll the same thing on your re-roll from your character card, then you actually gain one of these skill tokens you can use later. Or perhaps I rolled something else to not, say I had health all the way down here, and I rolled health, I don't want to lose, so maybe I re-rolled and I did that instead. Now the other thing you'll see is, on these cards here, there are symbols up top. So first off, we have here, we have the hourglass, and what I can do is I can take the roll of an hourglass and I could place it there. So instead of spending that penalty, I could place the die right there. You'll also see it has the lightning bolt symbol. That means any of the players around the table can actually share and use that. Also in the same vein, any player around the table can share and use these. Even though you can't see each other, you can still talk to each other and give advice. Now the other thing is I have this other box that has this purple symbol on it. And so that means, let's say I'd rolled another die, and I didn't want to take that penalty, I could place it over there because it was a purple task, and by placing the die there, I would actually gain a boost, which is a good thing for me. And then I would go through and I'd get the rewards from the card, which was one of these move tokens, and it said I may continue, which means I could then take another action on this card if I so chose. Now the other thing that might happen as you are reading through these storybooks is you might be finding different things. You might be finding an item like this garment here, or this beverage, or maybe new potential friends like this little crab here. And as you go through and you gain these from the story, then you will have more and more places where you can place dice and more abilities that you can spend boost on. Also, as you go through, you might discover, as I mentioned, those destiny cards, which are another way to win the game. Now, the last thing that I'll simply point out is the basic movement, because let's say I came back, I did another action, and it did not tell me I can continue. Well, then I would have to choose to move. So perhaps I would then say, okay, I'm going to go to card 413, which then would be a movement value of 1. So I'd have to roll a single die, and I could place that somewhere. And so maybe I placed it here on the beverage, you'll notice, and we'll just pretend I had some boost on there, and you'll notice I could do that, but it actually is going to cost me a single boost to do it. As you see, use a boost to place that there. And you're simply going to play around and around until either you have succeeded, and if you succeed on the basic mission, you can choose to continue on for an epic victory, meaning you accomplish a destiny victory as well, or until you've lost or you decide something that you are done playing. The only other two things that I'll point out is that eventually all of these dice will be used. Either they'll be down here, or maybe they'll be down here, and then they'll also be placed out on the various cards that you have, like so. But eventually there will come a challenge, and there will not be enough dice in the challenge pool for anyone to take an action, at which time all the dice get placed back, and all the dice come off of your cards, thus opening up those spaces for you to put dice on to keep from losing your statistics over here. The other thing I'll point out is, as you are playing, your character is always the center card, and you can only have so many cards built up around it for a total of a 3x3 grid. And that's the core of how this game works. So, what do I like about this game? First, the look, the production are just great. The art on the cards, the Vantages, as it were, which, I mean, clearly needs to be good, because that's the game, are the cards, is great. I love the landscapes and the creatures that are sometimes on there, and I also love that they're sometimes tied together. There was the game that I just played, there was a time where I got to go to a certain place, I'm avoiding spoilers here, and in that place I was able to see a bunch of things that referenced a bunch of cards I'd already done, and was telling me what I might find moving forward. But also at the same time, some of the cards that are adjacent to each other, you can actually see the other card in the background, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. The more you look at these cards, the more you're getting out of them. So I love that. I also really like the dice. They're great. And I know they're just dice, but they're really good dice for what they are, and the symbols on them are cool. All these things that didn't have to be in there. It could have just been regular D6s in there and you could have worked out, but they're just really nice, unique dice, which I really, really like. And then the card quality is really nice. Along with that, the organization is very good. In particular, I have to shout out that extra card they give to every player, so you can just kind of drop it in the location cards to easily put things back. I don't know why all games don't do that. That is fantastic. Any game that has something where you're going to be putting cards in and out, having that there so you can just go whoop, flip right to it, is dumbfoundingly amazing. So I don't know why that's the first time I've seen this, but all games should do that from now on. Next thing I'll say is, the story building of the game is really fun. It's just really delightful as you're going around and you have whatever your mission is, but you constantly are getting sidetracked. You find something like, oh my gosh, I just found this thing. I can upgrade this thing. Oh my gosh, I can do that. Holy smoke, I just found a flying pirate ship. Oh my gosh, I just found this old library. I just found a dude named Bob who's going to travel with me now if I go with him. It's just so much fun. It's just delightful. And you never know what you're going to find. And you're building this story, and it's just every single time I played, it's been a delight. And even though I've played fewer than 10 times,
even the times when I've come back and recrossed a location for even the times when I've wound up back at a location that I've already done, it's still a fun story because it's very easy just to do something different, and there's so many options and the way things connect, and it's not even I'm choosing to do something different because I saw something. It's, well, what's the makeup of my cards? Well, clearly I have all this purple space. I should go to purple because that's going to be a safer bet for me, which is likely to be something completely different, and it's just wonderful the way that that works. Now, I'll also say that the building of your tableau is really fun too. I've already mentioned the story bit and you're upgrading cards and stuff, but the way that you're building out your tableau, which is going to allow you to make smarter choices on the cards themselves or upgrade these cards, and the way you're placing the dice on them, it's just really satisfying every single time. And there's enough mitigation, enough ways to get the boost to do rerolls that it's rare that you feel like, well, I have no chance. And so I really, really like that. And I think because of all these things that I've said so far, it just feels like anything is possible in this game. And I'm not usually the type that likes that in a game. Usually I feel after a bit, oh, okay, it's just kind of aimless and I'm just kind of doing things to do things. But not here. And every time I've played, I kept thinking, okay, this is going to be the game where I'm like, okay, I get it, I'm done. But it's not. I just keep wanting to go back and experience and try something new because I can. Oh my gosh, I found a fishing lure. Well, I'm going to go find some water and go fishing. Like, it's just a delight, a delight, a delight. And it's the first truly sandbox style game I've played that I really feel like I can do pretty much anything that I want to do. And this is tied to what I just said. It's so much fun to play with the toys and things that you find that I find myself delaying winning the game because I'm like, I could win the game right now, but I just got this thing that I want to try, and so I'll go do that for a bit. And it also plays into that because for most of the time you do a thing and then you get this epic victory that you can do, this destiny, so you can kind of keep going and playing with your toys. It's just masterfully put together. It truly, truly is. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first thing is, to me, this is really a 1 to 2 player game, and really a great solo game, a fantastic solo game. But more than 2, then you're going to start to feel some serious downtime, especially if you play a max player count. Because as the thing goes all the way around the table, you're going to be waiting for things to come back, and because turns are so short and so fast, which is great and works well for 2 player, and I do think 2 player is quite good because having someone else read you the story and you can't see it all what's ahead is very good. More than that, I think there's diminishing returns is what you're going to get. The next thing I'll say is, you don't really win. I mean, you do. You have a target, do this thing, build a building, fix a ship, get some money, like whatever it is. Even though you have a goal, it's really not about that goal. All the stuff that I was saying before that's so much fun to me, it's not the winning. Like, yeah, it's good to win, but whatever. It's the experience. As my students like to say, Mr. Brown, it's not about the grade we got. It's about the friends we made along the way. Now, they say it tongue-in-cheek. I don't know where they got it. I don't know what prompted them to start saying this, but that's what this game is about. It's not about winning, it's about the friends you make along the way. And in this game, literally, you might have a giant crab as a friend. I finished a game where I blasted off into space, minor spoilers here, all right, I blasted off into space with my friends, the giant eel, the dinosaur, and the crystal crab. And yeah, I won the game, but I had already won the game because listen to that entourage I had. But it's not. But that said, if you're the type that is like, this is the end game, this is what I want to do, this isn't going to be the game for you. The next thing I want to say is, when you're playing the game, even after you read the rules, the first game you're going to feel like totally lost for a bit. When I played through with Mrs. Hungry Gamer the first time, we would do something, and we was like, well, I don't know what's going to, something's going to happen. We're going to find out. And that happens in this game, and I think it's by design, because with the way that it works, where you understand what's going on and you just dive in, and the book is going to tell you when things happen, is really delightful as far as discovery goes, but that might be a major drawback to you. In the same vein, it's a lot of reading. a lot of reading. In fact, that's most of what you're doing. Mostly you're experiencing this story with chucking some dice here and there and placing them and using them, and you're making choices, but it's really about the story. So it's a lot of reading. Or if you're playing with other people, it's a lot of reading to them and listening on your part. And again, that just might not be what you're looking for in a game, because this is a lot less game mechanics and more game story, choose your own adventure. And I just have to be very clear that that is what you're getting into, nothing else. And so if that's not interesting, then you need to run away. But there you have it, folks. That is Vantage from Stonemaier. Quite frankly, I adore this game. And I don't want to, right? I don't want to because I want to be the guy that's like, well, I'm here for the mechanics and the this and that. But damn, that story is so much fun. And I want to keep getting back to it, and it's great that I can get this thing out on the table in 5 minutes, y'all. Which is great. Play a game and be done, and it's just so much fun. If you're looking for something that's crunchy mechanically, this isn't going to be for you. If you're looking for story and you're going to play this solo or 2-player, this game is a winner. This is a game that if I had to end my year right now and pick my Games of the Year candidates, this is a Game of the Year candidate for me. I am so high on this. In fact, as soon as the pre-orders come out, I'm going to be ordering the metal coins and the wooden bits and all the upgrade nonsense I can get if they have it. I don't know what they have, but I'm ordering that. So anyhow, as I said, that is Vantage from Stonemaier Games. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know down in the comments with a timestamp so I can get that into the Klingon subtitles. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.